It's like I'm walking on sunshine.
Paka! What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is DoomCast number 28. My name is Doug Owen, and I am joined alongside, of course, my co-host, none other than Charlie Mcgrath. You can follow us on Twitter at DoomCast Show. Also, you can go to the website dedicated to the show where all the archives and everything that you need to be part of it is located. It's doomcast.com. What's going on, Charlie Mcgrath? How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. Just finished my program. I saw you in my chat room. I appreciate you stalking me.
Yeah.
You're probably looking to steal some material from me.
I missed out. What were some of the highlights of the show tonight?
Warren Edward Pollock was my guest tonight, and he is probably without a doubt one of the smartest guys I've ever spoke to in this journey. Works in New York. He's right now he's being paid to be a consultant for a finance company. Just really, really smart guy and really keen on what's happening geopolitically. And man, you know what? If he is a doomer, he spelled out a pretty gloomy future for this country, and I agree with him.
But he's going to make a lot of money, right? I mean, that's the whole point.
I think Warren has done very, very well.
Profit off of the doom.
I think he has. I don't know if he's profited off the doom, but I think he's definitely done very much okay for himself. I'm at the I'm at DoomCast.com right now. I'm in the chat room. We got 25 folks in there. Hi, folks, in there. They're either listening to us or the Rinse Network.
Maybe nothing. Maybe they're listening to nothing. Maybe they're just chatting.
They're probably just chatting. Chatters.
You never know.
Chattertons.
Hi.
Nice touch of humor throughout this one. Very good episode. Thanks, guys. That was from Frog Leggers.
I looked at the numbers and I was like, wow, what happened? Total drop off, but I forgot that we didn't do the show until Sunday evening. So
I didn't post until Monday. So it's literally had like one full day of soaking, and it's I think this has got 800 on it. But yeah, we didn't do it till Sunday. Doug said thanks to that comment, by the way, because you read them all. I love it.
So gloom and doom, bad economic numbers. I saw some of the parallels, some of the infographics looking at the year 1929 and comparing it to 2014. So it seems that there's kind of a consensus that this year is either going to be a huge crash. Janet Yellen said that she thinks that they're not going to have to print as much money. And, we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah. And, I was pulling up some headlines, because first of all, the most important headline I have is more dead bankers. And I'm sure we're going to get into that. But just type it in Yellen, and here's the headlines. Wall Street Yellen for approval of Yellen, because there's a little bit of a spike or rally or whatever. Yellen-led Fed will spot asset bubbles before they burst. Lie. And then talking about any kind of tapering is a lie. It's not going to happen. And if it does, you best be prepared for the carnage that's going to ensue. I mean, eventually that is going to happen. They're going to stop propping up this recovery that isn't a recovery, that is nothing but printing money. And when they do, then it's really going to hit the fan. And the notion that Yellen is going to spot a bubble, why would she? She's creating them. That's what the Fed does. That's their job. They create bubbles so that their counterparts, the people that own the Federal Reserve, can make a heyday on Wall Street on these bubbles, while they collapse and implode and people lose everything and the taxpayer picks up the bill. That's her job. She isn't serving the people of this country. She's serving a bunch of bankers. So she's going to do exactly what she's told to do, which is to continue to inflate the largest bubble in the history of the planet, which is the debt bubble, our nation of which has about 17 trillion worth of national debt that we're told about. This bubble, when it bursts, it will lead to the ultimate doom that I think most people aren't going to be ready for, Doug Owen. And I believe my co-founder, Doug Owen, thinks I'm a little too much doomy on that topic. But I truly believe that's what's coming.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's just a matter of when, right? I mean, or what happens in lieu. People are trying to escape the central banking system And if you see what's happening with Bitcoin, it's really promising because you see two stories that are taking shape. And I think that that's what you see with the economy as well. Two stories, two completely different narratives. Ben Bernanke said that the job of the Federal Reserve, one of which are many, is that they have to prop up Wall Street. Okay, so the stock market. So that's really, I mean, when you think about that, if that's their job to keep the stock market going, then they're doing a great job. People look at numbers and they're like, wow, it's great. If you invested in gold, it's bad. But at the same time, when you look at all of the real indicators, all of the hallmarks of a strong economy for this country, primarily, you realize that we don't have the jobs. We've had this thing called a jobless recovery. If there's ever such a creature, it makes no sense to me. It's a recovery for the stock market, but it's not a recovery for the people. So you have all of these academics and economists that just hail this guy like he's Jimi Hendrix or the second coming of Christ. I mean, he gets so much high praise for being wrong over and over and over again.
Who did you say? Who is this?
I mean, all over the place. I mean, when
no. Who's the guy getting high praise? I missed it.
Bernanke. Bernanke.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
cut out there. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. So, yeah,
Okay.
I mean, but at the same time, when you look at all the critics, I mean, including myself and yourself, it's a totally different story. So people are either drinking the Kool-Aid or they are,
Yeah, most people are drinking the Kool-Aid. Even most people who are middle class, like us. Not all, most. I'm not going to say that it's a whopping, overwhelming majority, but it is a majority of people that believe that he had the right solution to the problem in 2008, and that the Fed is doing a good job by keeping the stock market up. And it's of course for selfish reasons, because they look at their 401k or whatever investment they have, and they see an increase since the slaughtering it took in 2009, and they'll say, yeah, that the Fed is doing a good job. And as to your point, if you really break it down to what their job is, they're doing an excellent job, because they're working for the people that are becoming fabulously wealthy on printing money that we don't have and putting the nation further into debt. So yeah, I mean, their true mandate from their true ownership, they're doing a bang up job for them, regardless of the fact that it's leading us into destitution as a nation. Well, destitution.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so the alternative is maybe getting out of state currency or getting out of the dollar, getting into Bitcoin or something other than something that's state run.
Yeah, I saw Reason.com had an interesting
piece.
I mean,
people are being locked out of Mt. Gox. Are you familiar what's been happening over the last few days?
Oh, yeah.
Well, there's two exchanges now, not just Mt. Gox, but they're being DDoS'd, and they're being attacked by hackers. Who knows who they might be? Think about the people like JP Morgan that we're going to talk about, because they have another dead banker. Trading bankers. We're going to talk about some of the ties to the CIA. I've got some good stuff there, but this whole thing is turning out to be quite a conflated little story. So I don't know
about the lockout. This article I found was it's the headline of it is, it's time to grill the Federal Reserve about Bitcoin. Mm-hmm. And then it goes on to say the most provocative way to phrase it, a question to Chairman Yellen, would be when she goes before her congressional testimony before being named the Queen of the World. The question from one of the representatives should be asking is, what would happen to the dollar if the world financial system or some huge online retailer such as Amazon or Walmart or even the Apple Store were to announce it was going to give customers choice of paying in Bitcoin instead of dollars? So, even in somewhat establishment media, the Bitcoin is starting to be slapped around a little bit as and not patriotic, maybe even.
Well, they're talking about maybe accepting Bitcoin at the USPS. I mean, how patriotic is that? I mean, the U.S. Postal Service. So the federal government actually accepting it. People are having trouble with Mt. Gox and some of these other exchanges, but there's still plenty of Bitcoin transactions that are going on, and Overstock.com, among other really big companies.
Are you sold on the coin now?
No, not at all. I mean, there's there was an 80% price drop just the other day. These spikes, and so it's just. I mean, I guess I like it, but I like it about as much as I like, money at Bank of America or money in maybe Portugal, a bank in maybe Greece. That's where I'm at with it, because there's a lot of uncertainty just for me personally putting money into it, but to just put money into it to transact. I like that idea if it's with, vendors or people that I trust. But
I predict there'll be some kind of shocking revelation, or
smash it,
or happenstance, in this year.
I just don't trust the digital currency. I think it's part of this long-term agenda to completely go to a cashless society.
I do too, man. I do too.
I think that's always going to be in the back of my mind, that we're beta testing this, and they're going to continue to refine the blockchain, to refine the code, and that at some point, you're going to have, Bitcoin and the free market aspect of it pretty much pushed away, made irrelevant, and you're going to have new federally backed, insured cryptocurrency systems.
That's right.
Maybe
you're going to have to get a mark on your forehead.
Yeah, you're going to get the barcode.
You're going to get a barcode, and
oh man,
we joke about it.
This week has been crazy for stories about chips in people's heads. I mean, DARPA has been doing a lot of stuff this week, and there's just things that used to be kind of kooky and silly when you say, oh well, somebody's going to have a brain controlled quadcopter. He's going to have a drone that you can control with your brain. That happened. It's happening now. They have these things.
That is real technology.
It's real technology. It's not beta. It's not cold fusion.
That goes. I mean, there's lots of things that we talk about every single week that a few years ago, we comment on. We'd have been considered lunatics for talking about. You're talking about technology. We also talk a lot about the fact that the complete dismantling of the Constitution and the rise of the police state is something that only lunatics were talking about a few years ago, and now that comes to pass as well. So, in relatively short order, Doug Owen, it could be just a matter of a year or 2 years before something occurs that or some technology emerges that we wouldn't even dream of thinking of right now.
Right.
So.
Well, here's one. I mean, let's talk about conspiracy theory 101. What do you think about the death of bin Laden?
I think the death of bin Laden is a staged event. I think they killed somebody. I think they had a mission that went forward, but the fact that they get this body of bin Laden, the most wanted man in the history of the world, the reason why we've spent trillions of dollars prosecuting a never-ending war, is this individual. He is the poster child for 9/11. He's a poster child for the destruction of your personal freedom, and they kick him off the side of an aircraft carrier. So that smells like a setup to me.
Why wouldn't you just dart him and then take him into custody and torture him like they have so many others? Why wouldn't they? I mean, it would only make sense that you would torture him, that you would try to extract intel out of bin Laden. He's the most notorious. I mean, he's the guy behind the global jihad, this group called Al Qaeda that is metastasizing through the Middle East and into the Western world.
And if the powers that be have their way, his name will be synonymous with Adolf Hitler, Joseph Stalin. He will go down as one of the most evil people in the history of the planet, and they kick him off the side of an aircraft carrier.
It's strange. Well, anyway, there were allegedly pictures of this that, there was proof that we have to look at to say, yes, they did kill bin Laden. Because, I mean, we haven't seen really anything. I mean, we're just kind of going on the best information we can from the State Department, which is nothing.
Or the movie that was released. They showed the whole story.
The CIA released and funded movie. Yes.
Yeah, that's just it. Now they'll tell you something that happened, and then they'll make a movie about it, so that reinforces it. And most people just suck it up.
Well, you'll like this. This is another. This adds insult to injury for you out there, the thinking majority, maybe minority, hopefully majority of people. A newly released email shows that 11 days after the killing of terror leader Osama bin Laden in 2011, the U.S. military's top special operations officer ordered subordinates to destroy all photographs of the Al-Qaeda founder's corpse or turn them over to the CIA. So, all of the pictures.
Why?
Well,
what was is there a reason in this article you're reading?
No. This happened. They just released this. This is a story today out of, it's a blurb
was there
from the
summation on this? Like they did this because of Benghazi or what? I mean, what? Why?
Well, this guy McRaven, who was William McRaven.
Whoa! Did you say McLovin?
No, McRaven.
Oh, gotcha.
McRaven. He sounds kind of like a crow. McRaven here. He is was the U.S. Special Operations Command header. He told the military officers on May 13, 2011 that photos of bin Laden's remains should have been sent to the CIA or already destroyed. Bin Laden was killed by Special Operations Team in Pakistan on May 2nd. McRaven's order to purge the bin Laden material came 10 days after the Associated Press asked for the photos and other documents under the U.S. Freedom of Information Act because we'd like to see the photos. Why?
Sure.
Well, I mean, why not? They showed Muammar Gaddafi. I've seen the video on YouTube of him being sodomized before he was killed by a group of banditos. Militants.
Yeah.
So
we saw, he died. Remember? That was Hillary's words.
Yes.
Yes, we came, we saw, he died.
She's evil. Oh.
Yeah, she sounds like Fire Marshal Bill. Let me show you something, kids. It's a drone.
I forgot about Fire Marshal Bill.
Oh yeah, that's what's his face? It is
Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey, yeah. Well, anyway, so he decided to do this because they didn't want to release this, and they gave a bunch of bull crap. He didn't say why or how, and I don't even know if they really did this, but I mean, this is destroying evidence.
Sure.
Potentially, if nothing else, it's destroying the official record, and you have to ask yourself why.
Right.
Why would you not want to? I mean, we've launched $1 trillion. I hate to even try to quantify this with a value, a number value, but $1 trillion plus war,
sure.
Which is just, I mean, phenomenally insane. And well, I mean, if you look at what we're doing in our policy, you were mentioning this earlier. But besides bin Laden here, I mean, this whole story is a hoax. It's all BS. They probably shot some guy that they had sitting there. I mean, this is like a Dick Cheney bird hunt. And then took a bunch of guys in there. And then they mysteriously got on a helicopter and a bunch of them died. And then I mean, if you look at the death count, the body count on Navy SEALs that were involved in the killing of bin Laden, I mean, they're marked. And the ones that may have had pictures that they didn't turn over to the CIA, they may have found themselves, on the other end of a bullet.
Well, it seems to me that, am I with you still, Dougie Owen?
Yeah. That was my gun silencer right there.
Oh, that was pretty sweet.
See the body falling over? I had to chop that together.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
See, I'm looking at the cost of a war, the cost of the war on terror in numbers, casualties of war on terrorism since 2001 in Iraq and Afghanistan. And this I just pulled up. I don't know how accurate this is, but it seems like it's very, very conservative with 116,000 dead civilians. And these were as of 2011, 8,975 U.S. Soldiers. And we know that number's higher now. 2,900 victims, 9/11, 25,297 local soldiers. 76,778 Islamists have been killed. So overall, this 100, and I think this is a gross misunderestimation. Is that right? Misunderestimation?
No, but it's okay.
Yeah,
it is now. It's a word now.
It is misunderestimation.
I got bugged about saying what was the word I was using? Irregular. No, what was it? What was the word that I was using that people were really upset about? It might have been, I can't think of it now, but I got some word I was using incorrectly. Nuclear is always one that people get pretty upset with. They're like, you're saying it wrong, man. They go right to the keyboard commandos, get right on it. It's like, okay. You're saying it just like George Bush, Doug. Sorry.
It's because you're both from Texas.
Yeah.
Texas. Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, anyway, so the point of it is, I do believe sites like antiwar.org or .com, whatever they are, where they, their stats show, it's hundreds of thousands of civilians. We know 400 civilians are killed for every one so-called high-value target using drones. And this, it's just nonstop every single day. Numbers adding up. I said in my program earlier tonight, you can't pick a day of the week without looking at a place like Iraq that's completely destabilized because of the war on terror, where there's not 50 or 90 or 100 deaths almost every single day. And we have to attribute that to the destabilization of this region. So the point being, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people are no longer sucking wind on this planet because of the guy that they caught in a Pakistan villa and kicked off the side of an aircraft carrier. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever.
Remember all the bad Photoshop where they had the satellite dish on the side of his conclave, and then the other photos didn't have the satellite dish?
Yeah.
And then they asked the neighbors, and they're like, that's not Bin Laden. That's just Joe Blow over there. And, the whole story was just suspect.
Abba Dabba Durka Burka.
There's
just hanging out.
There's a great article on blacklistednews.com by my buddy Lee, who wrote up a story. And here's the headline: Official story of Osama bin Laden's death, a hoax with new evidence indicating military cover up to support propaganda and lies. And I think that's a pretty good headline, because that's what happened. They said that they had to destroy this so that you wouldn't see military tactics, which is complete bull. I mean, anybody with...
Oh, okay, there's the reason. I've been waiting for the golden reason.
Yeah,
why.
Because if you saw the photos, then you would, be shocked that, just like, when we were to not hear the Sandy Hook phone calls, you were going to be shocked. It was going to blow you away.
Somebody shooting down the hallway.
I don't think it would even scare the kids in this country.
Are you kidding me? Look what they showed to get us in the war on terror. Yeah. How many times did you have to watch the human bombs drop out of one of the Trade Center's towers? That was over and over and over and over again.
No, it was what really got me was the people jumping out of the buildings, and they just showed that over and over.
That's the human bombs. That's yes, because when they hit, they splat, and they showed that over and over and over again. So a double tap in Bin Laden's head is going to be too much for us to see. I don't think so, man. Yeah, for sure. And you're right. Every time we go roll into one of these North African countries, we have no problem blasting death and destruction all over the news. No problem showing kids being chemically warfared, I guess is the right terminology, when we're trying to go in and dethrone Assad. So to think that we're going to see some kind of tactic that's going to offend, that's crap from start to finish. To think that we're going to see some kind of military tactic that is going to give the enemy some kind of upper hand, how on earth can you even say that when you have the Akabadari carpet underneath Bin Laden's head and 2 bullet holes in it? I mean, that, if this were a true, actual, organic, legitimate mission that took down the most wanted man in the world, I can't help but think that even if he was dead, they would bring him and parade his corpse from one end of this country to the other, celebrating the fact. But nope, we're going to just give him a little boot off the side of the USS Who Gives a Crap.
Durka, Muhammad Jihad.
Yeah, for sure. So, well, terrorist networks have to have financing. One of the things that the government's trying to do is find all of those bad banks that are funding terrorist organizations.
Oh, are we talking about jumping bankers? No, not yet. Okay.
Yeah, sure, why not? Yeah.
No, sorry, I just got excited. I heard bank.
You start thinking about money, and it gets exciting. That's how they feel about banking too. No,
I get excited when this is gonna make me have to be a heartless jerk. Everybody's gonna think I see the mounting toll of carnage in the banking industry. 5 whole deaths now in 2 weeks bankers, and it cracks me up a little bit because it's a big story that the bankers are offing themselves, are dying in mysterious ways, and it's five dudes.
All right, so here's the backstory. J.P. Morgan executive becomes the 5th banker to die in the last 2 weeks. This came out this morning. Ordinarily, we would not, ordinarily we would ignore the news of another banker's death. This is coming from Zero Hedge. After all these sad events happen all the time, after all they do, if it wasn't for several contextual aspects of this most recent passage. First, the death in question, as reported by the Stanford Daily Voice, is that Ryan Henry Crane, a Harvard graduate who is survived by his wife, son, and parents, the very young age of 37. Ryan Henry Crane was formerly employed by the J.P. Morgan Bank, which was featured prominently in the news. So this guy was just up until a few days ago a high-profile guy at J.P. Morgan.
Indeed. He was an executive director of J.P. Morgan's Global Program Trading Desk based in New York and had been with them for 14 years. Here's the interesting part. Few details have been released concerning the nature of his death, with reports merely stating that Crane is survived by what you already talked already. We can only hope, this is from Zero Hedge, we can only hope this disturbing chain of deaths within the financial industry, one of which involved a nail gun-induced suicide, is purely accidental.
Yeah, that's where it's starting to get kind of weird.
Yeah, it's getting freaky, no doubt.
Well, and over the last few years, the federal government has allowed J.P. Morgan to pay over $30 billion in fines. And, there's rumors that they are mixed up in a lot of fraud. And I say rumors because I don't know all of the ins and outs of all of the fraud, and it seems that it's such an epidemic that it's
Let me just go on record as saying they are.
Yeah. Well, so when it comes to J.P. Morgan, they are above the law. They're too big to fail. And when you look at Jamie Dimon, you realize he is a corporatist gangster bankster, and he feels that way. That's why he's in a pinstripe suit, and that's why he kind of condescends to the audience. He can go and talk crap at Davos, and people just want to talk to him because he's super uber rich. Well, anyway, Newsweek back on November 14th, this writer Jeff Stein noted that the National Resources Division is the biggest little CIA shop that you've never heard of. One good reason you've never heard of it until now is that the New York Times was asked not to name it back in 2001. James Risen writes in a New York Times piece, the CIA's New York station was behind the false front of another federal organization, which intelligence officials requested that the Times not identify. The station was, among other things, a base of operations to spy and recruit foreign diplomats stationed at the United Nations while debriefing selected American business executives and others willing to talk to the CIA after returning from overseas. So you're a businessman and you're one of these Wall Street bigwigs. You're a J.P. Morgan baker, and we know that they're the ones that are running the Chinese Sovereign Wealth Fund, right? So they go over there, and then when they come back, let's talk about what Wang Dong's doing and what I'm not going to be bigoted tonight, but
too late.
Too late. We already missed the ship on that one.
Some Ting Wong.
So
there you go.
Anyway, this is just a cloak and dagger. It's amazing. It links the United Nations, the CIA, and of course J.P. Morgan together. So when it comes to these bankers being offed, it would be very, 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 very easy and even maybe an obligation of the intelligence services to rein in possible whistleblowers and others that could blow the front. Now, the CIA isn't allowed. This is illegal after 2001 and prior. In the Patriot Act, secret sections of 215, all of those things that are being thrown out there, never allowed, and still to this day, it is illegal for the CIA to run businesses in this country.
Right.
So,
correct.
Yeah. So there's a lot happening here. So anyway,
no doubt.
I mean, this is from the Times. This isn't from Conspiracy Planet or some other wacky website. And this is kind of a fallback to what's going on here and how long this has been happening. Now, we also know that the banks were involved in drug trafficking, and HSBC, JP Morgan, and many others were tied up in all these financial scandals that during the transfer of wealth in 2008 actually propped up these bad banks that were, at least according to New York Times writers and others that were briefed and told, probably given national security letters and told that they're not allowed to say anything about this under threat of going to jail, that, they were working with these agencies, and, they've all paid fines, and, just another day in the empire. But I mean, it really pulls the veil back on what's happening here potentially.
You know what the disgusting thing is, Doug? The disgusting thing is it could be anything from collusion with alphabet intelligence agencies to vendettas to Mexican drug cartels, and anything in between could be the truth. And that's what, that's the epitome of how disgusting these institutions are. It's just, it could be any of this because they're involved in all of this.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway.
My summation.
Oh, yeah.
I do. I mean, it sounds more drug cartel-y when you look at things like, I committed suicide with a nail gun 7 times in my Abdullah Amlagata.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem doable, but hey, whatever.
Yeah.
33rd floor push out. The untold death, or the undescribed death of this Crane fella.
Yeah, I mean, this is done with pretty minimal regard, and I think this is also a message. That's why it's done so sloppily.
Ooh, I never thought of it that way.
Other bankers are like, oh my God, did you see this? He had 7 nails in his head. How does that happen? You can't do that. This is no good. I would look. I mean, if you're not, the general public might buy that because they're just not looking at it. It's just, a blurb and they don't pay attention and don't look. But when somebody says, okay, this guy died and he was shot.
It would be impossible. It's impossible to do that. I just can't see it.
No.
7 times in the head with the nail gun. You must really hate yourself if you're gonna check out like that. What would be worse? Cooking yourself in the microwave might be a little worse.
True. So did you see that Russia has been at it again?
What'd they do, Doug? Tell me.
They've used a chemical attack against Bob Costas in the Sochi Olympics.
The eyeballs ain't working right, are they?
No, that's definitely a trademark of.
Have you been
Putin.
watching the Olympics? You getting involved in that at all?
No, but I listen to a lot of sports talk radio in the background at work, kind of forcibly.
Yeah. You know what sucks? Here's what sucks about it is, of course, at work. Here's what sucks about it, Doug. Like last night, I'm sitting there and I just finished a video, just posted it. I want to talk about that video in a little bit too. But I thought, well, you know what? Shaun White, he's gonna go for gold medal number whatever, and my boss calls me. He's also my best friend. He calls me and we're yakking on the phone. And I said, oh, Shaun White's about to go. I want to see this. And he goes, oh yeah, he really sucked and he didn't get a medal at all. So
man, he totally spoiled it.
Yeah, he ruined it for me. And it's because of that stupid time difference. So I don't want to watch the Olympics if it's not in at least with, where I can't watch it live. That's what I'm getting at. Yeah, I don't like this time delay crap.
Technology. What a burden. Yeah, he didn't do too well.
No, he sucked, and he's done. He's walking away from.
Well, I mean,
Sochi.
once he cut off his hair, I mean, I mean, I thought immediately once he got that Justin Bieber hairdo going, that was just
game over.
Game over, man. It's game over.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad I can stop watching the stupid Visa commercials with Shaun White talking about bringing something special to Sochi. I guess it was his Visa card because it wasn't a gold medal attempt.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I don't know.
The Visa Olympics.
It wasn't a gold medal performance. That would have been a better way to finish that. I must have had his Visa card.
I'm all about the women's curling.
Wait,
That's really all I care about. I'm a big fan.
I want you to splice this all together. Wait a minute.
I'm all about women's hockey.
Stop. Listen. I need you to cut the recording right here and then go back and I can re-say this line about I'm happy that I don't have to watch his stupid Visa commercials where he talks about bringing something new to Sochi. Because apparently the only thing he's bringing to Sochi is his Visa card and not a gold medal performance. There it is. Bam. Got it out.
That's
Bam.
That's great. What else has happened? Okay, so yeah, Bob Costas is out. You know, it has to be an inside job, and Matt.
Oh, it just looks horrible too. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I mean, it's so bad that they have Matt Lauer in there. That's pretty bad.
That's really bad.
I mean, you're going to the B team.
His eyes. It was started in one. It started in one eye.
Yeah.
And now the other one's all puffy and red. It just looks ridiculous. And you know, I think it's
the big story is his eyeballs look like he's smoking. You know,
it looks worse
crack
than
with
that.
Rob Ford.
It looks like he's got 5th grade pink eye.
Yeah, that Russian pink eye is no joke.
It's no joke, brother. You don't want the Russian pink eye.
Got it from all those stray dogs over there, for sure.
I want to talk about tyranny in America. I want
to talk about your video. What's up with that? Tyranny
in
America.
That's what I want to talk about a little bit.
Perfect.
You've been promoting them for me, so thank you very much, Doug. I appreciate you doing that. You're a good guy.
I try.
Yeah, you do a good job at trying. No, the topic of the video I put out last night was the newly released information about the Ohio National Guard 52nd Civil Support Team and their latest mission, training against terror-loving terrorists. And it was exposed this week that the terror-loving terrorists that they're training against are Second Amendment supporters, Second Amendment Americans who might have anti-government views. Those are the domestic terrorists that they're training for. And in the envisioned plot, they were using a school laboratory to cook up chemical weapons. And the funniest part, not funny, none of this is funny.
No.
The doomiest part of this article was the Portsmouth, it must be Portsmouth, Ohio police chief Bill Raisin told NBC that these drills, and I quote, actually portray the world that we live in, and it is helping us prepare for that world. It just doesn't end the amount of the outrageous, in-your-face police state tyranny, and it's just going to continue to. How many times have you ran stories, or I ran stories, or we talked about the expansion of the security state? Is it a drone busting somebody for the first time, or being used to prosecute somebody for the first time, a civilian in this country? Or is it these up-armored vehicles that are going to police departments, or the continued militarization of our police departments, or the roadside checks, or the no constitution zone, or the National Guard training to kill Americans because they believe they should have the right to own a gun? It just doesn't end, Doug Owen. And these are the stories that are much more important than Bob Costas' pink eye, yet it ain't really covered.
Right. Well, I this isn't the first time. I mean, this is an ongoing,
no doubt,
mission to take on the American people, to be there during times of unrest, and to, people,
and to kill them.
Well, maybe, or round them up and put them in a camp or whatever it may be that they need to do during a time of a disaster, emergency.
Could it be something like what we talked about Sunday on the very recently recorded DoomCast, where Anthony Scalia is talking about internment camps? We talked about that Sunday, didn't we?
Well, yeah. I mean, we have them now. They're called prisons. And, putting you in a prison without a trial isn't something that couldn't happen in the very near future. And turning your local Walmart into a prison with the help of FEMA or just a relief center or whatever you want to call it. I mean,
look, we've made detaining people indefinitely vogue in America.
Yeah.
Look, we've made it vogue. It's okay to do it. That's the message. It's been, as long as the word terror is involved with it. So, let's train our National Guard that Second Amendment supporters and people with anti-government views deserve to be treated just like the guys in Gitmo, which is detaining them without end, without trial, without any representation, without any reason other than we want to detain you. That's the path we're going on. And when Scalia comes out talking to the University of Hawaii students about it is not likely that it's going to happen again in the United States, it is definitely going to happen again in the United States. He's referring to detainment camps or internment camps, a la World War II, when we rounded up a bunch of Japanese Americans and threw them inside these prison camps for years. The exact same scenario. But it isn't going to be, I don't believe anyway, a nationality-based imprisonment. It's going to be an ideology-based imprisonment. It's going to be, what do you think you should have in the way of freedom? Oh, you do? Okay. Well, get to your Walmart FEMA camp and shut the hell up.
Right. Well, they think that they look at Twitter and all the people that are pretty upset, and they're like, these are going to be the people that during a crisis immediately come after government officials. We have to watch out for them. So, there's a lot of idiots on Twitter and probably a lot of ops that
Twidiots.
Yeah, Twidiots and operators.
I literally just made that up. I hope nobody else has made that up already because I want to take credit for it. Twidiots.
I'll give it to you.
Thanks, buddy.
So, that's what the government looks at. Because most people, let's be honest, most people are going to just say, okay, whatever, that's cool. Whatever you tell me to do, it's fine. If there's a
if they're going to
order,
turn you, you're going to just go along with it? Not me.
Well, exactly. Now, you're that Christian, right-leaning guy that they're worried about, Charlie McGrath. See? They're not stupid. They're not. See? There you go.
Bring it.
See, they estimated you correctly.
Well,
now the only thing
deal.
is, have they underestimated you?
Yes, they have, my friend.
No.
I am an army of one.
So, did you hear about Ray Nagin? Remember Ray Nagin? He's an interesting guy. He was the mayor of New Orleans during Hurricane Katrina.
Yeah, Katrina. Yeah. Who was the Philly guy? The cokehead? No, he was D.C. Anyway, go ahead.
Thinking
Ray
about
Nagin.
Marion Barry.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah. So anyway, Ray Nagin, Katrina, New Orleans mayor, foot in his mouth. Go ahead.
Yeah, he was the guy that said that he was worried that the CIA was going to come whack him because he was, being critical on this radio station of the federal government, the response by the Bush administration, and just being overly candid. So a guy that, not too ignorant. Anyway, out of all of this today, he was found guilty of, I think, almost 30 corruption charges and faces a possible sentence. And basically, it's just hooking up his sons with work through a lot of the money that was coming in the relief funds.
Oh, what a scumbag!
Yeah, but nothing that Chris Christie or others
He's another scumbag
wouldn't do. But Ray Nagin's going to get the short end of the stick because he's not connected. He's not a blue blood, and
he opened his mouth probably out of turn before he got permission. But you know what? I think Chris Christie he's probably done for, don't you think? As the golden child of the red team in 2016 with his scandalous activities.
Well, the red team doesn't have anybody to run. There's just nothing for them for this election. So it's going to be another give me to Queen Hillary. I think.
No, that ain't happening, man.
It's Bushes and Clintons and Clintons and Bushes and Bushes and Clintons. And
Nope.
Obama was there, but he was really a Clinton.
He was really a Clinton, but it won't be Hillary. I really do think that you do. I know you do. And
I think it's going to be Newt Gingrich.
Oh, wait a minute. It could be Newt. It could be Newt. It could be an ultra, it could be the march towards Nazism, with an ultra nationalistic type
Jerome
of guy.
Corsi and Pat Buchanan.
Rand Paul.
Sarah Palin and Howard Dean together.
Bob Costas.
Yes. Bob Costas.
Guy. I'm just gonna throw, every time you say something, I'm just gonna throw out another name. Bob Costas, pink eye for president.
I thought that
he's starting the sympathy campaign right now, man. You see it, I see it. It's obvious.
No, it's just with this guy Ray Nagin. It's just pretty sad because he's going down for these. And not that.
How many years is it going to get? How much time is he looking at?
No telling.
Okay.
I don't know. It's white collar crime.
Well, what was the dude in Chicago who's now in a federal prison in Denver? The big hair dude. What was his name?
The big haired dude.
Yeah, wafty hair. He got to appoint Obama's successor Senate seat because he was governor of Illinois, and I can't think of anybody.
Blagojevich.
Yeah, thank you.
Rod, yeah, he went against Bank America. It didn't work out for him.
It didn't work out well. It did not work out well. Spitzer doesn't work out well when you go up against the machine.
Yeah, you're going to be thrown out there as a philanderer I mean, almost everyone on the Hill, I would imagine, is having sex with prostitutes. I mean, male and female. I mean, isn't that just pretty much, par for the course? Really?
I think you're right. I don't know how you went to that, but yeah.
Well, no, that's what they did with Elliot Spitzer. It was his mistress
gotcha.
His hookers.
Yeah, I think a lot of that is honeypot setup. They'll and it could be happening over years, right? Years where they're just sending the sweet looking call girl your way, and next thing you know, you're pissing somebody off on Wall Street. Guess what? You're done. You're finito. And now they ain't even messing around. Now, Doug Owen. Now they shoot you in the head with nail guns 7 times.
Yeah, that's
no more honeypot.
Very unfortunate. Very unfortunate when things like that happen.
It happens all the time, man. Suicides by air gun. It's an epidemic.
So everybody's hyped up, especially the liberal media, about the next killing of a U.S. citizen without any kind of trial, military style. He's in Barack Obama's deck of people to kill with his Predator drones, or, probably. I would bet it's going to be, something else that they're using besides drones these days. But anyway, an assassination program to kill other bad guys. Apparently, he's an American citizen. He's been very, very naughty, and we can't go over there. So we can't have him come back home. So we're going to go over there and assassinate him. People get really, really excited. And of course, I think both of us agree that is. I think it's just chicken shit. I mean, it should be really easy to extract this guy. I mean, we are the most powerful machine, the military-industrial complex. It's very easy for the Mossad, Israel, Pakistani ISI to kidnap people, assassinate them, do it all the time. It's standard operating procedure. So,
but you're missing the point. The point is not that they can. The point is that they want to kill outside of the confines of the Constitution. Just like they want to imprison people without charge, without trial, without representation for eternity. It's about desensitizing the populace to these tactics that are coming, as long as you have a rabble-rousing, belligerent terror moniker labeled behind your name or in front of your name. Then you are no longer a human being, and you deserve nothing other than a hellfire missile. That is, yeah.
Well, Amazon's getting. And Jeff Bezos, who now owns the Washington Post, is getting a little flack, and I think he should. Amazon has a cloud storage contract with the CIA for cloud computing services. Those are the cloud computing services that they're using to collate data for the drone program, the assassination program. So this is the first time that you have, well, I think so much of the intel and the cooperation at least highlighted with a company that is a media association, has deep ties to the CIA. I mean, $600 million contract, and the privatization that a lot of people don't see that I think they will with this story, and it brings it to light. I think that they want this discussion to happen now. Putting Holder in jail. No, he's slithering off the stage this year, apparently. So rather than doing that, they're going to, talk about this. But, then you look at the CIA, their drone program. You now have Google that is going to be working with Foxconn to build mechanized warriors. They just bought Boston Dynamics, and you're starting to really see this technocracy take shape, really starting to see this mech warrior future that we're looking at, which, that just scares the hell out of me, Charlie Mcgrath, to think about, how automated and how just systematic the world is going to be. The policing and the precog policing, where basically it's pre-crime, putting police officers in your face because they have a tip from Twidiots ratting on you for 50 bucks.
I need you to say TM or registered after that, please.
TM.
Thank you.
Yes,
Twidiots. Twidiots, trademarked. But I don't mean to cut you off. You're right. You're 100% right. It is pretty scary to see this melding, I guess, of government technology and so-called private sector technology in order to use it as a control apparatus. Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, blurring those lines, the R&D for the military. Now, DARPA's actually letting all of their R&D, it's all open source. They want people to contribute. And this is an interesting idea. Rather than keeping all of their deep, creepy things like putting brain chips. BBC has a really interesting piece about why you want the chip and why you need the chip this week, which, used to kind of be taboo. Now it's just an upgrade. It's something to add on. It's the next big thing when Google Glass is antiquated. But, the push is there, and the R&D is now open to anybody that wants to contribute to it. So
what could you possibly do, Doug, if somebody's listening to us dooming out, and it is pretty damn scary when you're talking about institutions like the CIA and Amazon joining forces.
Yeah, because they know everything that you buy,
everything that you do. Everybody shops there.
They know what you're watching on Amazon Prime. They know
right, or Google. Who doesn't Google search something or have that browser, or just your basic fact that you're 100% of everything you do electronically, right? And if they can't figure it out electronically, they'll piece it together with metadata and, kill you that way, or invade your privacy, destroy your freedom that way. What could you possibly do in this world, as I say day and age, but that sounds so corny. What can you possibly do in this society to not participate in that? I mean, really, there's nothing. Yeah. Live in the wilderness. Yeah.
That's not going to help you. I mean, you might be disconnected from the world, and that's fine. If you want to disconnect, hey, I understand. You live a nice life. Go and paint things and enjoy yourself and eat organic food. But, it's not to say that, they have all sorts of crazy technology like...
Right, so you're not going to get away from it, right? You're not going to get away from it. No. Even if you're... I don't know if you've seen the latest Nat Geo special about the wilderness man in the Northwest up in Washington, the Olympic Peninsula. I can't remember the guy's name.
They would probably look at you more there than they would in a city where you're pretty much digitally camouflaged. I mean, I just don't. I know that there's this allure of escaping to another time where it was just you against the wolves and eating out of cans and. I mean, that
cans? Wait a minute. No, not you and the wolves. You're not eating out of cans.
Well, you got to trade the wolf pellets or the pelts to after you skin them.
Living with the wolves, eating out of cans. Okay.
Well, you trade the cans. You get the cans from the Eskimos that get it from the
Where they get it from the chicken of the sea tuna?
No. From the the pilot that drops it off for them.
Okay.
They trade walrus.
Okay. Ancient astronaut theorists believe. I got a funny story.
Okay.
I'm sitting here trying to remember the name of this dude. You're ranting on about wolves and cans of food.
Right.
And I'm trying to remember...
you trade the white man for those. That's how you get the cans of food. That's how it works.
All right. I'm just going to take you at your word on that, Doug.
Okay.
I'm going to move on because I'm sitting here talking about this dude who's on Nat Geo, live in the Pacific Northwest, Olympic Peninsula. And these are little things that I do to try to help remember a name. I'm reciting this event, this television program, and the plot line behind it, hoping that the name pops into my head, and it didn't. So I'm looking over at the studio door, and it creeps open, and my 13, soon to be 14-year-old son pops his head in and mouths the words, "Mick Dodge." It's Mick Dodge. That's the dude who's on the program, and that's what I was trying to think of. Who's allegedly completely off the grid, living off of the radar and stepping back from society. Yet there's a camera crew with him, but apparently most of the time he's completely off the grid.
No. But he's being immersed into society. Everything that he's doing is being recorded and put on TV. You cannot. I mean, that is how ridiculous people are. They're like, this guy's totally off the grid. No, he's totally on the grid. He's in your TV.
He's the grid.
He's in your freaking TV on there. You're watching him and you're sending him you're tweeting him fan mail. Okay, don't give me this. He's got a Twitter account. This is not correct. He's not off the grid.
Truly off the grid would be people that we can't literally talk about because they're off the grid.
You would not know them because they're off the grid. You never
hear about them.
So they got
to be there. They got to be there in the deepest, darkest jungles of South America. They're down there. They're down there swimming with the caiman and eating canned food.
You want to go underground? Become an illegal alien. That's the only way you can go underground. You can operate in society without too many people knowing what you're doing.
Yeah, you're on a computer.
You don't have a number. You don't have the mark of the beast. You don't have to pay taxes. Nobody's going to come.
With that, that's not true. If they have a job, they pay taxes. They just don't get a refund.
Well, yeah.
They can't file for a refund.
Well, no, but they don't have to file taxes. They don't have to deal with that. I mean, even now with Obamacare, you have to file your taxes even if you're not even working, just to show your income.
To prove. But is this a misnomer? Am I wrong on this, Doug? Now I'm gonna step aside to your brilliance on this topic because you live in Texas. You live close, somewhat close.
Darn Skippy.
Darn Skippy. So you probably have seen an illegal or two in your day.
Yes.
But the argument,
Yeah.
illegal or two, maybe even more than that.
Yes.
All right. So the argument that, when it comes to illegals, and first of all, if anybody's freaking out, I'm not for illegal immigration or aliens or anything like that. Just this one argument that I've heard over and again is they come up here to steal our jobs and they don't pay taxes. Right? Okay. So
incorrect.
What job have you ever had that you didn't pay your taxes? You work for an hourly, especially an illegal alien job, that type of manual labor.
Mm-hmm.
What type of a job do you have that you don't pay your taxes until you file? That's ludicrous. If you're getting a paycheck, the taxes are already out of it.
A lot of them get paid with cash. So the idea is that let's say you're a landscaper. Some guys might just hire you to come do work for the day and they pay you cash money. But here's the thing. This is what people forget. You know what they're doing with that money? Okay, the most of it's getting wire transferred back to Mexico, but what isn't is being spent, and it's going towards taxes. Why? Because everything's taxes. Alcohol? Yeah. Every time you see some illegal immigrants buying Bud Light, and they love it. Oh, they love it. That is their favorite thing. Bud Light. That's what they call it. You like Bud Light? Bud Light. I mean, they are great consumers when it comes to that product. At least the ones because my encounters are at the convenience store. So people are buying beer. That's kind of why you're there. You're there for gas and beer, maybe. So they're paying tons of taxes. Isn't it more expensive
at the convenience store for beer? Can't you go to?
Oh yeah. But these guys,
Walmart?
I mean, you could go to Walmart. This isn't a state where you have to go to a package store. But you buy your gas, you stop at the store, and you just look at these guys, and they live in convenience stores, and they buy gas. That's all taxes, pretty much. I mean, I think here in Texas, it's almost 31 cents on the gallon. Don't quote me on that, but it's a lot. I
think that's what we are here too.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal amount of the money that you're paying at the pump is just taxes. That they're paying alcohol taxes. If you're buying any kind of food stuff, you're paying sales tax in this state, and that's 8% of your money. So all of that's going there. Anytime that they buy anything, anytime that they pay rent, and you got to live somewhere, and they're probably paying somebody else, they're paying taxes, they're paying land and property taxes. So when it really comes down to it, I mean, it's not that I'm for illegal immigration. It's just that's not a good point. That's not why. It's not that they're not paying enough taxes. You may be paying more taxes and you feel it's a disadvantage to you to do that, but
well, then the other argument is they get on the dole, from one social safety net or another, and then they stay there and live on there, and that's
the dole. That's the problem with the dole. I mean,
get rid of the dole.
Right. I mean, if people really wanted to do something, and I haven't heard anybody, even on the right, even the most radical Rand Paul, Ted Cruz type, saying, let's repeal the anchor baby law. Okay? It doesn't matter if you come to this country and you're born here, if your parents aren't citizen, if you're serious about it. And I'm kind of indifferent about it because I see the mutual exploitation that happens every day, and all of the people that profit from that, those whole industries, because we have tons of construction here. So you see it firsthand everywhere.
Well, you see, and I know construction, even as far north as Montana, right? We have illegals working here. So obviously, it's a problem. It's a problem.
I mean, but but you think about it this way. There's a guy that's an American citizen that's running that company, that's paying taxes, that's profiting from that. So you have the mutual, exploitation. Okay, and if you're a purist and you really feel that way, then you should go and build a house and make sure that you hire nothing but American, citizens or
Labor.
or
and
union laborists. Get some union guys to build your house.
But you know what?
See
It
what
isn't
costs.
Johnny Nail Pounder and his 4 houses a year that he builds that's going to pick up some cheap day labor. That, come on, man, that ain't the problem. That obviously the problem is the Tyson chicken chunks of the world, and these multinational, multi-billion-dollar corporations that lobby not to have any kind of meaningful change in the legislation when it comes to illegals, because they benefit greatly from this reduced price
that's their
labor.
that's the Democrat voter base. That's their new voter base, and they give them stuff for free, stuff that they're not worried about because that's not something that they care about. The budget doesn't matter. So it's about short-term thinking and getting yourself into office, and that is a popular demographic. It's just like, in the 70s, you saw all of these blaxploitation movies coming out, and it's when advertisers and Fortune 500 or to-be Fortune 500 companies realized, oh my God, we're not selling enough products to black people. There's this whole market of people that want to buy products that are being neglected. We need to tap that market. Same thing here. I mean, there's huge markets around the illegal immigration. I mean, there's millions of illegal immigrants in Texas.
I heard you say tap it. I went to the Osama double tap shot and tap it, and then you're talking about Bud Light. You know what I'm going to do right now?
What's that?
I'm going to read some comments. I already read one. Nice touch
Well,
of
I'd like
humor.
to hear about it, potheads.
Nice touch of humor throughout this one. Very good episode, guys. That was that was Frogleggers. Doug Owen said thank you. Back to that one.
You repeated that one twice. It's
I know.
impressive.
I like my Doug Owen voice. That's why I keep doing it.
Yeah.
You need more Doom and Doomer puns. Did we get any? Did we get more on this one?
I'll have to work on that.
All right. That was a
Homework.
Homework. More Doomer and Doomer puns. That was Tony Boyd. Thanks for that comment. That wasn't the whole comment, but thanks for the comment. What happens in Las Vegas stays compiled in Bluffdale. Ha 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 ha.
What is that? Where's Bluffdale?
Bluffdale, I think that's a big old fusion center, isn't it? So what we're doing in Vegas is getting compiled. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's the one that...
big time.
It's a big, huge one. It's right outside of Vegas. I remember.
Bozeman14 said, best Doomcast ever. Great analysis. Good on you.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks.
You know what else I'm going to do?
What's up?
I'm going to ask people to keep dooming it and keep commenting on the Doomcast because we greatly appreciate it. Doug is very religious about getting in there and reading them all and answering quite a lot of them. And you know what's funny is I jump over to Spreaker, and I'm always the first comment on Spreaker. And you jump over to my YouTube channel, and you're always the first one to comment there. So it's kind of like we're checking up on each other. It's kind of weird.
Yeah. I mean, I get a lot more feedback via the email. Doug at blacklistednews.com is fine. I mean, you can also text the show if you want to text Charlie and I. I get the texts, and I will share those with him. 512.
You never share them with me. I never heard these texts.
Most of them are irrelevant to the Doomcast. I get a lot of texts, but not so many for this show.
I think you're getting hundreds of thousands of dollars on the sly, and you're keeping it.
Well, if that was true, then you would at least get 10,000. I mean,
oh, cool. All right, cool. I can look forward to that.
If I was getting hundreds of thousands of dollars, I'd at least give you thousands.
That'd be awesome.
Under the table.
I would take it, just like an illegal.
Yes, in a Home Depot parking lot.
Kyle B. I almost said the last name. I'm glad I didn't. Kyle B. Donated $20 to Wide Awake / Doomcast, and I want to thank Kyle. Yes, I do. But I also want to thank Sarah K. because she stepped up and donated $50 to Wide Awake / Doomcast.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh. And she left me a message here on the PayPal message dealio. Yeah. Here it goes. She goes, Durka. Guys, Durka. Charlie, hope you enjoy your week in Lost Wages. If you're ever stuck in Lincoln again, hit me up. The BF and I, she's got a Bigfoot. The Bigfoot and I would love to meet you. Keep rocking it out. I'm not reading the rest of it.
Nice.
Nice, indeed.
Very cool.
Thank you, Bigfoot and Sarah K. and Kyle B. Before anybody sends me a message, I know BF stands for boyfriend.
Yeah, or best friend. Could be best friend. Probably boyfriend.
I'm thinking boyfriend. She's playing it safe.
Yeah.
She's like, ooh, I just gave this guy $50. I Durka'd. I said, next time you're in Lincoln, stop by. I better make sure he knows that I am spoken for with the BF.
That's cool. That's absolutely.
Sarah, thank you very much.
That's smart,
and duly
too.
Noted. It
Keeps
is smart.
everybody happy. Make sure everybody
Absolutely.
knows what the intentions are.
That's right. She's a professional. She's supporting the program, as we greatly appreciate.
Yes.
And she wants to keep it professional. So
I
thank
like
you
that.
very much, Sarah. Thank you very much, Kyle. Thank you very much, commenters. My name is Charlie Mcgrath. My website's wideawakenews.com. You can email me at info@wideawakenews.com. My co-founder, co-host is Doug Owen. He is blacklistednews.com. And where can I email you at, buddy?
Doug at blacklistednews.com.
Doug
at blacklistednews.com.
And
And
tell-
follow us on Twitter at
yeah.
DoomCast Show. And, of course, check out the website, doomcast.com. We're going to do more cool stuff to it here in the very near future.
We appreciate your support. We appreciate you listening. We'll see you next week with DoomCast number 29.